FakeTV Box was produced at iQuame.com Studios on 114th Road Studios, New York. Production is made possible by Adobe, providing limitless creativity for all. The innovative world of Apple, always think different, but not too different, and by the people of this and other YouTube channels. And with the support from Brooklyn College, who reminds CUNY students that there's nothing without great effort. Hello there, KlicKNettars. Welcome to FakeTV Box with Kwame Alexander. This show we take a huge spin on the latest news out there. Today we're going to cover one of the craziest stories in sports, and I'm not talking about the Super Bowl.
I now, with honor, present to you the Washington Commanders.
Folks, wait, let's not drag it out, Jason. What is the new team name?
Doug, what is it?
We are the Commanders.
We are the Commanders.
The Commanders.
Speaking of Washington, how do you feel about the Commanders' new name? How are we not going to call them commies? And would you be interested in becoming a commie in your 10th year?
Commander.
Washington basically stole the name from a XFL team.
This is a terrible, terrible, terrible decision. Of all the nouns in the world, Commanders is what you came up with? Commanders? I'd prefer football team to Commanders.
But this name is whack.
Is what?
That's the only. My W is for whack.
Bro, that don't even sound tough, bro. Y'all sound like a little league kids team.
Yeah, that's right. Say hello to the Washington Commanders of the National Football League. Not to be mistaken for the Command Dorks from Little League Football. On February 2nd, 2022, or 2.2.22, whatever you want to call it, the Washington football team announced that they would change their name to the Commanders. As most people remember, this 90-year-old NFL franchise came under scrutiny in 2020 for the use of a slur against Native Americans as their former name, the Redskins. This led to the search for a new name and caused Washington to be called the football team for the 2020 and 2021 NFL seasons. It's no secret that the new name has been given a mixed turn, generally negative reaction to the football community, and it was no secret at all that this team was going to be called the Commanders. Just take a look.
As of an hour ago, Fox News has photos, aerial photos, of the signage inside the stadium team store, and the signs clearly read Washington Commanders. You see the picture here, you see it looking through the window there, Washington Commanders. I mean, that's pretty disappointing.
Okay, so what had happened was, Brad Freitas, a helicopter reporter who works for Washington's NBC affiliate, was flying over FedEx Field, and the helicopter he was on zoomed in on a promenade in the stadium donning the team's new name on what looked like a backdrop. Oh my god. How did they let this happen? How? They didn't even think to just cover it up. The new name was supposed to be dropped on February 2nd, and not even the United States Secret Service could protect it. This was the second leak of the team's new name 5 days after a Twitter user spotted that the domain commanders.com had been transferred to Mark Monitor, the company that the NFL uses to handle most of its domain names for teams and brands. And 2 days before the new name was revealed, former Washington quarterback Joe Theismann said this in an interview with CBS Sports Radio.
I think the Commanders is a name that is going to be hopefully one that people will talk about going forward.
All right, so you like the Commanders as the new team name, huh?
Commander, basically, it's Washington, D.C., a lot of commanders in Washington, D.C., in the Pentagon, and a lot of different branches of the service. And so to me, that's sort of the way I'm looking at it, as a positions of leadership.
There are a lot of famous Joes in the NFL. Joe Burrow is going to be famous for making it to the Super Bowl in his second season as a quarterback, while Joe Theismann will be famous for winning a Super Bowl in 1983 and for spoiling what was already the worst kept secret in the history of Washington football. Now, as for the reaction towards the name Commanders, well, we have found 10 popular tweets on Twitter, and I'm going to react to them in the very first edition of Myquote. Our first tweet comes from JB is Box Office Poison. He writes, "You can call them the Washington Commanders all you want, but they'll always be the Washington football team of my beloved childhood memories." My quote is, "Wow, I didn't know the name football team was starting to grow on you, like a virus that won't go away anytime soon." Our next tweet comes from Shay Sinero, who writes, "Washington Commanders is like when the movie can't get the rights to use an actual team, so they throw something quick out there and hope it just doesn't cause too much confusion." My quote is, "I doubt anyone would confuse them with the fools in office who lied that the election was stolen." Our next tweet comes from Charlie Arnold. She writes, "The Washington #Commanders literally sounds like a team from a league that has failed not once, but twice. Now, parentheses, I will name names. My quote is, they've now failed more times than the command dogs of Little League Football." Next we have Itamani Rowe, who writes, "Welp, today is my last day supporting this team. I will be following them after the name change. I simply do not trust this organization anymore after making repeated promises the name wouldn't change. I am a Redskins fan, not a Commanders fan. Sorry, nice try, but no. My quote is, you are a true hero to stick with the use of a slur against Native Americans." The next tweet comes from J.P. Finley, who writes, "Official new uniforms. Don't love the W on the front of the black helmet, but like the numbers." My quote is, "I think the W stands for Wumbo. Wouldn't you agree, Patrick?"
Come on, I wumbo, you wumbo, he, she, me, wumbo. Wumboing.
I wonder if a fall from this height would be enough to kill me.
Wumbology? The study of wumbo?
Our next tweet is from Zim, who writes, "The black helmet is so bad. My quote is, do try not to hit anyone over the head with it." Our next tweet is from Terry Official Lax Go TM. She writes, "Whispers. I like Washington Commanders." My quote is, "Whispers. Are you being sarcastic?" Next we have Vince, who writes, unpopular opinion, but I really like Washington Commanders. Yeah, it sounds auto-generated, but everyone will get used to it. Hashtag Washington Commanders, hashtag Washington football, hashtag NFL #football. My quote is, seems like Washington fans wish they could change it to something else they like. If they were as powerful as team president Jason White, that is. Next we have Mike Mason, who writes, me right now. My quote is, Russell Wilson, if he were the Commanders starting quarterback right now. And finally, our last tweet comes from BetMGM. He writes, the Washington Commanders sound like a made-up football team in a movie starring The Rock. Well, my quote is, if you smell what the comms are cooking. And that does it for my quote. Well, that's our show. Thank you all for watching. If you liked this episode, then don't forget to like, comment, and share in order to give support. And make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're new to this channel. And while I may not see the Washington Commanders in the Super Bowl next year, I will see you next time on FakeTV Box with Kwame Alexander.